So, I said I might be back, and I'm back. But welcome to some detailing for a new D&D campaign that we're going to start streaming on this channel. I am here with the DM of the campaign, and we're going to go over some backstory and some lore for the world because I've only been in the campaign for 2 weeks and I know very little still. So, um, yeah, let's go.
So, hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Chris. I am the DM for the campaign. The name of the campaign is Shadow in the Fens, and it's set in a my own homebrew setting. It's called the homebrew setting itself is called Terra. It's a relatively large setting. It's got several different unique areas. This specific one is going to be set on a specific province called Morovia, which we'll get into a little bit later. But I mean, also, another question a lot of people might be asking is why would we want to start streaming a campaign in the middle of it? Well, we had a couple of different shakeups where a bunch of new players were brought on, Sydney being one of them. Our most recent addition, in fact. And one of our players had a passing remark about which episode we were on, and another player Dave brought up the fact that he had been upset that we hadn't streamed the episodes before this. So that way we couldn't have shown Sydney or anyone joining up in the campaign them. So eventually that led to us kind of deciding we wanted to stream it. And yeah, so it kind of originally started off as a group of, 4 people I met in London. And we played in person for a little bit, then the coronavirus hit, and then it moved online. Along with one of my other campaigns, which is where I met Dave, Sydney, and Andrew, another one of the players in the campaign. So we eventually all
And
agreed
Alex.
to start streaming. And Alex, too. Yeah, can't forget about Alex.
Don't leave Alex out of it.
Well, I mean, our walking punchline.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, no, it's just been recently we've the group kind of started to click, and we've therefore kind of decided to start streaming some of the antics. So a little bit more about the setting. Morovia itself is kind of built around 2 areas. One of the main ones, and one of the ones that the players haven't visited yet, is the town of Morovia proper, excuse me, down in the south. It's a large city, and there's also an area around the Lake Alluvia, up to the north, which is also pretty heavily populated. Most of the campaign has taken place, or the entirety of the campaign has taken place around, but with the party kind of traveling around Lake Alluvia, dealing with the problems of the setting. So, there's a little bit of background about that area. About 60 years ago, there was a war fought between the two neighboring powers. Well, that one of them being Gascony, which is kind of loosely based on High Medieval France and the Holy Roman Empire, kind of a mix between the two of them. The other one's the Terran Imperium, which is if you gave the Roman Empire basically a ton of really powerful wizards, and they did not fall during the Dark Ages. So those two went to war for the territory about 60 years ago. It was a war mostly fought over resources and the fertile farmland of the area. The Gascony ended up being able to hold on to the area, and now the setting has been kind of scarred by that conflict and has very much been influenced by it. On top of that, the premise for this specific campaign, which the party has recently run into, is there's an ancient hag named Remithra, who has recently resurfaced after she had been thought to be dead for over 200 years. She is currently rebuilding a coven in order to raise an undead army in order to take control of the province. She's doing this by creating these circles using magical focuses called lodestones. She uses those to create large ritual circles in order to turn entire towns and villages into hordes of zombies. Now it's the party's job to find and destroy these circles and eventually track down the coven and destroy them. Yeah, that's about where we're at so far. Any questions, Sydney?
um, so I'm assuming the first episode that I joined in, they assumed that
I had
that
given you that speech. Yeah, they assumed that I had told you that, which I had not.
yeah.
because
Um,
I wanted your fresh reaction to it because your player doesn't know shit, so you don't know shit.
no. So we'll do player introductions the next session, but to give you guys an idea, my character is basically a walking baby to the world. So I don't know shit about anything for the most part.
Yep.
So
A little bit, actually, a little bit of background on certain different areas for each of the characters. A lot of the lore is pretty consistent with Faerun and the Forgotten Realms. But there's little bits mixed in. I'm sure everybody's gonna be able to kind of pick them out from random little fantasy things that I've either stolen or appropriated. But I don't do this for a living, so sue me. Please don't, Bethesda or Warhammer or GamesWorks, please. But as far as that goes, but yeah. Interestingly enough, the party is actually a big hodgepodge of a lot of different stuff. Mostly kind of getting along at this point. I mean, everybody kind of gives each other a little bit of crap, but that's to be expected.
I was
Also,
incredibly insulted whenever I first joined the party, but
yeah, there are a few remarks thrown about what's the difference between wood and high elves. To the most lay people, including most, do not care. But the elves take offense to that. So,
very much so.
um, moving on from there. What was I gonna go into? But yeah, no, I mean that's mostly what's been going down. If anything, I was just way more efficient with my explanation, and we were expecting this to take way longer than it ended up taking.
Yeah.
But little back. There's actually a little bit of background on what the party's done up until this point. So do you have the map up for the Morovia right now, Sydney, or no?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I just can't see her screen. Sorry, we're not that professional here. San Angel is the location where the original party started. That consisted of a high elf bard named Lucinda, a bear totem barbarian named my God, how am I spacing on this? I DM'd him for 7 months. This is embarrassing. It'll come to me in a second. We had a Warforged artificer named Sparks, and a rogue named. Well, he was not with us very long, so that's inconsequential. So we lost the rogue within the first 2 sessions. He didn't make it out of San Angel, but main story there was a local lord whose son was now a bandit lord, or whose bastard son was a bandit lord, and therefore he was kind of terrorizing the town and trying to claim because the lord had no legitimate heirs. He was trying to claim the town as his birthright. And there were two other recurring characters, one being Severus, who's an imperial wizard, and one being the Lord de Montfort, who was who is a Gasconian noble who's been looking whose family's kind of been eyeing up the territory of Moravia itself. Uh, from there, the party moved. From there, the party late one night, a local girl in the village woke up turning into a hag and ended up murdering her family. And the party was able to track her down, and so were able to subdue her, but not without ending her life. And later discovering that the hag, in fact, was the girl who had turned into a hag. Later, the party went to the. After that, the party went north to the town of Durant, trying to head over in search of the Hag's main coven. Only to find that there had been some weird happenings in the town. One of which involved a face circle and some druids in the area, and a murder mystery, which ended up being solved by the party. Ending up in a cooking competition, which ended in the death of the Fae responsible for the murders. It's hard to explain, and yeah, that's it. Just happened. Well, one of the players, Ruz, has multiple personalities, and one of those personalities happens to be a half orc master chef. So, cooking competitions are a regular feature.
Yeah, just casual.
The Fae is also the recurring character. The recurring fairy character, Guy the Fairy, is also a weird. I was looking for male fairy models, or male fairy tokens to use in the campaign, and I found a picture of Guy the Fairy, which is Guy Fieri which is Guy Fieri with fairy wings and Crocs on, and I was too good of an opportunity to pass up, so I naturally had to include it. as anyone in their right mind would.
Absolutely.
From there, the party moved on to Turil after dealing with his problems there, only to discover that the town had been turned into zombies, and they had to they had to deal with the zombie horde, aiding the local soldiers who were stationed there, in order to destroy the circle, in order to prevent the ritual from being casted again, thus turning those soldiers into zombies as well. They were able to track down a small coven of hags there who were working for the main bad hag, Mithra, and were able to destroy that coven without with one of the hags escaping and later being found dead, most likely killed by one of her sisters for her failure. From there, the party moved down to south to Castle Alluvia, in the town of Alluvia itself. They've been there for the last few sessions, dealing with some of the problems there. They most recently destroyed the circle there, thus saving the town from being zombified, and also have been dealing with some personal things for each of their characters at this point. So I think we're going to pick it up next week. Most likely, is the party is having just found one of the hags in the coven and having destroyed this hags all the magic circles and everything like that. Is gonna end up trekking on the rest of the coven next session, and that's where we're gonna jump into it.
Yep. It was very interesting the way that we destroyed the circle. The
What
circle.
Claude Trip?
Yeah. How many
Yeah, Claude rolled
times? How many times did people get zapped? Not.
zapped.
Yeah.
Oh, at least 3 times. They weren't even looking. Like, and they forgot we had a rogue in the party who can disarm, traps.
Two rogues.
Yeah. And they just started opening doors. I mean,
Just full head on. Absolutely. Just. I'ma touch the door. Everybody backs away.
to be fair, I did put an illusion on the first. I did have them put an illusion on the first door, which told us showed up as illusion instead of evocation.
But still.
So that one wasn't entirely their fault. Still, they probably should have had.
Yeah.
I've seen rogues described as the walking corpse, and there's a reason for that. They have to go up and disarm all the traps. So
Yes, but with my proficiencies, why would you not send me in to do things like that?
you have the big dumb stupid fighters. In which case, a big, really, really dumb paladin.
Yeah. I don't know how else to describe Guard. I mean, he kind of almost
No, I wasn't
succeeded,
talking about
so.
Guard. I was talking about Claude.
Oh,
Guard's just
Claude. Yeah,
Guard's
well,
is special in his own way. He's not actually unintelligent. He's just special.
yeah. I mean, I kind of expect Claude to just kind of fall over at some point.
Yeah, like he did to destroy the Hex Circle.
No, just like fall over drooling.
He does that. In fact, he did that twice during the cricket competition you were late for.
Listen. Not my fault.
Oh, but still pretty funny. It was actually that one was actually ended up really being really interesting. I'm sure he'll get into it in his Alex will get into it in his character introduction, but he managed to catch the eye of a Feylord and is now in sort of a pen pal slash I guess whatever the D&D version of sexting is with the Feylord.
Yeah.
Salacious pen pal. There we go.
Gotta
Uh,
find all the right words.
yeah, no. I have the words. They're just locked up tight there, and it takes a while for them to come out sometimes. Either way, that's pretty much the synopsis. Any other questions, Sydney, or that you specifically have that you want to ask about anything that's gone down, or I hope you did your homework for this stream.
I mean, I had to do my homework considering I wasn't given much backstory before. Um, I don't
Well,
think so.
cool. I don't really have anything else to say as far as that goes. I think that's a very decent enough introduction. Um, If somehow this gains more than 15 people watching it, I guess I can do a full lore episode on the world itself. Be a geography lesson with Professor Chris. But I mean, apart from that, I don't
Oh,
really have
like
anything
the
else to add.
race wars.
Well, I mean, there's been a couple of those, yeah. But I mean, like again, we'll save that for in case if anything interest gets drummed up. This is supposed to be a teaser, not supposed to be a full on history lesson.
Yeah.
I get. I mean, would you like Professor Chris to come out? I can get the jacket and can sit go cozy up in my shitty chair by the fire. Which by that I mean my really shitty radiator heater in my flat in London. But yeah. Um, some basic things to know two groups of people that don't like each other. The Wood Elves don't like anybody. Um,
Nah, man.
the Gnomes don't like the Imperium. Um, the Dwarves don't like the Imperium. The Gasconians don't like the Imperium. The Elmaids don't like the Imperium. The High Elves don't care about anybody else, generally. Um, the Gasconians do not like the Wood Elves at all. It's pretty much all the ones you need to know for now. I mean, I can go in better detail later, but yeah, it's it's some of those things where it's almost better to have the lore sort of uncover itself as we go through. I've got it written down. It's just I want all the players to know about it necessarily because there's stuff that they don't necessarily need to know about, and you know,
Well, and it's
metagaming is a
not
thing.
stuff their characters would necessarily know yet.
Exactly. So if we're gonna do a lore thing, I'm gonna go into the deep lore and et cetera, et cetera. Then it'll just be me and the viewers if Sydney's okay with me using her Twitch account.
We'll
I
see.
promise I won't get you banned. I promise.
We'll see.
I'll be wearing
Twitch's
I'll be wearing
guidelines have changed.
I'm gonna be wearing pants, a tie, and my glasses. I'm gonna be sitting in front of a fake fireplace while I'm giving a lecture on the lore
We'll see.
in a library if I can manage it.
Just
I'll just go
stacks
to
of
my.
books up behind you in like a
No,
V.
I'm gonna. Well, I have a stack of books in front of me right now that I could probably set up. But I was thinking of going to my university's library. I know the librarian, so I might be able to get an after hours and film.
Perfect.
I can't guarantee the connection will be great, and I'll have to make the fake fireplace just on my monitor, and I'll find a nice chair to do it in. And it'll be so weird if someone walks in, like a janitor or somebody that walks in and just hears me talking about some random shit in the fantasy world.
Just leave. It's fine. Come back
Oh boy.
later.
Yeah. And the other thing about it is the fireplace is going to have to change from the fireplace being on the monitor to probably to a bunch of other stuff. Like I'm going to basically have to make a slideshow. Oh,
Yeah.
it'll be great. But that's only if there's interest drummed up in it. I'm not gonna put that much effort in if there's no interest.
Yeah. Oh, and to make a point, if you hear us making jokes about other characters or other stupid things, it is probably because in on Saturdays, all of us are in a campaign that Andrew runs. We are running Storm King's Thunder, and so if references and stuff are made, it's probably to that campaign. So,
Midway through it, nobody wants to see one of those campaigns run from the midpoint.
yeah, we're already far enough into it that
Also,
it'll
that
be
one's for
confusing.
us. It's not for you guys. It's for us.
Yeah. But if you hear random references or names and stuff that you're confused on, that's where they're coming from.
We'll do our best to keep that on the DL though.
Yeah, we'll see. There's too many similarities between some of the characters.
Between one of the characters. You're acting like Guard and Tusk aren't a very
Are
similar people.
basically the same character in some instances.
Yeah. Everybody else is very different.
Yeah.
Except for me, I'm just playing one character. Other than that, I'm just DM. But and there's a lot of me that comes through in the way I play my character in the other one. So mostly the snark, almost entirely the snark. But at the same time, I have to keep that on the DL when I'm DMing in order to keep everything fair, biased, and fun. Fair, biased, and fun. Fair, unbiased, and fun. Whoops, Freudian slip.
Oops.
Everyone has favorites. If your parents don't say if your parents say they don't have favorites, they're
They're
lying to you, and
lying.
you're not the favorite. It just means you're not the favorite.
Exactly.
I mean, they've been telling me that for years, and I've just accepted it at this point.
I know who's the favorite in my family.
Oh, I do too. I'm not naming names though. Also, I'm not doing that. Naming names on the internet, especially, because
Nah.
don't at me. Don't. About it. We normally will be streaming it at, I probably Eastern and GMT. We'll probably
Yeah.
be We'll normally be start streaming it at 7:15 GMT and 2:15 Eastern on Wednesdays.
Yeah. So it'll be in my Twitch schedule. So if
CC.
stuff gets moved or we change days or whatever, then it won't get moved in my Twitch schedule. So if we
Remember to
get
tell
to
her.
that day and you're like, where the fuck are people? Look there.
Or hell, if I ever have something written, I might just do a mini session. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like they may get some of it, they may be captured by Githyanki or something like that, or we may have another cooking competition, depending on how that goes. I got some other shit. Also, I have the BBEG campaign I wrote, so
Yeah.
they the baddies. Even though actually, also for this party specifically, they are what I would call good aligned. It's fair.
Yeah.
So there are some instances of people taking. There are some instances of gratuitous violence. We're not going to get into a narrated torture scene. Because actually, one of our players attempted to. What was it? What was he attempted to? He attempted to waterboard a sea hag.
Yes.
That went about as well as you'd expect. Uh,
Like I said, not all of our characters are exactly intelligent.
yeah, I think that was the player too, but I think he forgot it was a sea hag.
As soon as that was mentioned, my brain went, hang on a minute.
Yeah, I know. I put two and two together pretty quickly on him.
It's like, I don't think this
I was
is.
like, he was going through all the steps of everything you want to do. It's like, well, first off, you're attempting to waterboard a sea hag, so I'm already telling, based on what he was asking me for, so I can already tell you that it's gonna fail, so we're gonna skip that.
It's like, um, no.
Actually, no, I shouldn't have told him that until he went to try to role play through it. To be honest,
Yeah, that probably would have been funnier.
though the Dave was raising a stink about narrating a torture scene, but you know that's fair though. No one wants to hear that. Then again, not everybody knew where that was going except for me. So at the time, so because everybody likes to forget what hag you throw at them, especially if they take it out in 2 rounds. Party balancing issues.
That's not
Oh
our
well,
fault. It's
that's my
especially not
fault.
my fault, considering you're the
No,
one that
no, that
told me to play the subclass that
no,
I'm
it
playing.
is 100% my. You're. Hey, I almost took you over the trolls. It's not. That's not my bit. That's not my. I've rebalanced the encounters. It's just one of those things where it's like I've just learned like you guys are gonna blitz the objective, so I gotta throw everything at you or hide the objective from you. But if I hide the objective from you, we have a player who can just look into everybody's minds, find the objective, even if they're hiding, because apparently it negates sneak.
Yeah.
Until I figure out a way to fix that. And it's a psionic. It's not. It's technic. Is it a psionic ability? It's not a psionic. It's magical. Yes, I know how to beat it. Okay, you're you.
Yeah.
You guys are.
It's like, wait! Ideas!
high level
Oh,
spell though. I have to figure out. I got to figure out a way to justify that being there.
well, looks like you've got some thinking and some
Oh,
uh making angry of Russ.
Russell's gonna be like, I feel targeted, and I'm like, you should. You should.
You should. It's exactly a targeting.
Still, Hana should. I mean, Silria should have felt targeted. Sorry, that's me slipping again. Let it go on again. Um, should have felt targeted when I sent those trolls out, and they were just right next to her. I was like, mulch through these. Mulch through. Your big
she
dumb fighters are across the map.
she honestly didn't even give a shit though. She she was just kind of like, hi, bye. It's like,
Because
rogue
Russ played
shit.
down hypnotic pattern, which is trolls have notoriously low wisdom scores. Nah,
Yeah.
it's just that you've essentially become a barbarian with fewer hit points and no resistances. So, if anything, a more balanced barbarian.
Yeah, basically. A balanced barbarian, but I get to do rogue shit.
That was the idea for the class. So, I'd say I succeeded.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, that's about all I have to say on it because I think the rest of it's just gonna be us shooting this shit, which they'll be able to catch every Wednesday at 2:15 Eastern and 8:15 and 7:15 GMT time.
Can math.
2:15 Eastern and 7:15 GMT time. Again, don't miss it.
Yeah. So, I will probably start streams early, so you can get all of our bullshit like I do on our Tuesday campaigns. So yeah, it'll probably be like
Well, actually, play probably won't start until 7:35 because one of our players has to get out of class.
yeah. So it'll probably be like
It'll be 20 minutes of bullshit, and then we'll get into it.
yeah.
Basically, second he joins, he's gonna be yeah. Well, actually, no, it'll be perfect for character intros. We'll have his last.
Actually, yeah, that'll be great. We can all
Already thinking.
actually start kind of doing stuff, and then as soon as he gets in, just like, all right, your turn.
Character intro, then play.
Time to
Get on this
speak.
shit. We're already behind schedule.
Speak.
The best bit is it's a yoga class he has to do online, so
Yeah.
he blows it off half the time. And so he'll probably be in chat the entire time that's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Online yoga, I guess this makes sense.
Quarantine. But yeah.
Welcome to 2020, guys.
That and
God.
actually, we got to figure out. Is there any way we could broadcast the meme
Um,
spam in chat too?
I can probably adjust my screen. If I can get my computer fixed, I can do two screens.
Fair enough.
So, I'll try.
Go,
Hopefully,
Sydney's dad. Fix her computer.
hopefully we can get it fixed. Hopefully by next week we'll be able to have our meme streams in our stuff, which it will be my perspective on the map, so you guys will be able to see my character sheet. Obviously, you won't see anybody else's character sheet. But know that we're all the same level, and
Level
obviously,
6.
based on classes and stuff, you'll have an idea of stats and so forth. And you'll see everybody's roles. You just won't see sheets.
I even roll out in the open because I'm cool like that.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll see all the shit. Just and I try to
Also because I
do
don't.
like I'm used to trying to do like full map shows before I like zoom in on stuff, so unless
Fair
it's
enough. I
fog of
mean,
war on it and then
oh, there's gonna be way more fog of war coming up. So because I'm tired of you guys just running through shit.
it's like, oh look, the objective. Bye.
I'm sick and tired of your bullshit. See you Saturday then. And see anyone who watches this in the future on Wednesdays at 2:15 Eastern and 7:15 GMT time.
Yeah.
Goodbye.